got to part of the picture now where I'm going to put in this tree that is sitting in front of these background trees. Those trees are now finished. The bank is now finished. I've worked on these trees here. I'm going to get that done and then do this bank here. So I've already started on it. And the first place I start is doing the trunk and the branches. And I'm using, there's two tones. Some of it's in the light and some of it's in the shade. So the shaded areas, I've just mixed a bit of burnt umber with that and a little bit of black with the green that I was using for the leaves. So it's got the darker colour here, and I'm just going to draw in these branches and the trunks and try and get the right thickness. Doesn't matter too much whether they're precise, don't have to be exactly the same as the photograph. Let's just build those up. It's quite watery, the paint, so it gets a nice flow. I'm not using liquid for this, I'm just using white spirit. Just going to change to a slightly thinner brush. I was using a number 2 rigger, now I'm using a number 1, so it's that a little bit thinner. Watered that paint down a bit too much. And the lower branches come out sort of like that. They don't go out quite as far as this tree here, but they're something like that. And just continue to build that up with the darker branches until that looks about right. It's actually quite a sparse tree. It's not going to take a great deal more work really, just lightening up on a few of the areas. So the colours are quite subtle in a way, but you can see how using the warmer colours it does pull it forward, and you can see that it's sitting in front of the cooler trees behind. There's not a lot left to do, And this now, just going to continue adding some of those lighter greens. Another 5 minutes and that'll be finished. Do now is just use a different technique just for this last bit. Just make it a little bit less uniform and a touch more raggedy. So just using the fan brush, I'm picking the paint up a little bit thicker. It's less diluted, and just going over the same areas. So what that gives you is a slightly finer leaf. the ticket. So that's a fairly simple way of painting that tree. Didn't need to put too much detail into it because you've got all the detail behind already. So it's more of a suggestion really, and that it looks probably a fuller tree than I think it is, with sort of fairly limited amount of work on it. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to varnish one of my latest pictures today. It's had, I would say this has had about a week's worth of drying time. You don't really need to leave it that long, but anything I suppose from about 2 days up would be absolutely fine. So just to give you an idea of the varnish I'm using, I'm not really sort of terribly bothered about what brand it is, but I do use gloss varnish. I've got that one there, and that's another one, but they'll give pretty much the same effects. That's just been sitting in a jar of white spirit, and it just lives in that. I'll take the excess white spirit off. I'll just take off the majority of the varnish. Simple as that. Okay, and then just to make sure I haven't missed any bits, I tend to pick it up and I hold it against the light so I can see the sheen on it, and then I'll go do strokes all in the same direction. And as I'm doing that, I can see I've missed a few bits. Nice bit of sort out, and give it a turn, then I go in the opposite direction, just to get a nice even coat. And that's pretty much it. And there you can see, actually there's a fairly decent varnish on that now, fairly glossy. It won't be quite as glossy as that when the picture's dry, but it really does help pull out all of the colours and gives it that more of a transparent look.